Okay, I got the red smoke.
Gun runs north to south, west of the smoke, west of the smoke.
Okay, copy. West of the smoke. I'm looking at danger close now.
Come on with it, baby. Give it to me. I need it. You're cleared hot.
Copy, cleared hot.
People, I think, when they hear my voice, feel safe.
What's a soda?
There's soda in my voice. I got a lot of brandy. I got soda.
Like Coke?
No. Just
Dr. Pepper?
there's an effervescence to it. but there's also I think when I talk, people they go, oh, everything's gonna be all right, and that's what I do. A lot of times I say, like, I'll go, if there's a situation, if there's a sitch, I call it a sitch.
What type of situation are we?
God, dude, when I see, the bottom line is this, dude, and I want people to know this. I notice when the air changes. A predator knows that. A protector knows that.
Okay.
Okay, so I sense changes in the air, bro. So before anything happens, a lot of times there's a silence. All right? And that's when I say very quietly, if I'm with somebody, I go, stand to the left, or stand to the right, or get behind me. Real quiet, you see?
What about get down?
Well,
that's only in probably the most extreme
that's
situations.
exactly
Yeah.
right. That's when I go, eyes up, knees bent. You see what I'm saying?
Eyes up, knees bent.
Yeah, because a huge mistake that people make tactically is they duck and they look down. You can't see what's coming, bro. So when I duck, I'm squatting. My head, I'm looking. It's like when I go for a jab. I'm looking at your face, but I'm going to jab your body. I'll work your body. See, if there's a fight, what happens is I let the air out the tire, as they say, slowly. And you got a leak. And the sixth round, you can't understand why you got no traction, why your tires are flat. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry, your listeners. This is boxing terminology.
I'm already lost anyway.
I know,
At
dude.
jab, I was just like,
I know. I'm sorry,
over my
dude.
head.
I'm sorry. But the point is,
where'd you get this training?
we started talking about, what's that?
Where'd you get this training?
You wake up free every morning, and I'll keep doing what I do. How's that sound? All right?
Oh,
Yeah. By
Lord.
listening, by practicing,
By paying attention to your environment.
by living on the edge.
Yeah, I get it.
My fantasy is to, when I listen to you and Mike
Glover.
Uh,
Fascinating dude, by the way.
fascinating. I'm obsessed, and I like his voice. He's got a voice. Is he a robust dude?
He's got a bellow to it. It's like
Yeah.
a deep.
Yeah, he's got a little southern kind of twang.
I don't think he's southern.
There's something in there. Now, is he a muscular guy? Is he broader than, say, Bryan Callen?
Yes, but that's not a good yardstick to use, I think,
yeah.
because most are.
That's true.
You know?
That's true. I'm more of a greyhound. I'll keep you busy on the outside.
Yeah, you're about a phone width, phone book.
Don't say that. I don't like that.
Rotate, and then I don't mean like
Yeah.
reading it. I mean turn it sideways.
I don't like where you're going with this.
I mean,
did have
turn
a
little
guy.
bit more profile. Let's look at you in the. Turn
No,
just a touch more profile.
Green
People will see
green
it.
is my color. Let's get that out of the way first of all. If you're watching this, green's my color. I mean, I know. Before they look the same age, but Brian's 13 years old. Here's the thing, dude. I had a guy
We do have
tell
the
me.
same hair.
I had a guy look at my side and he goes, "I could scribe your spine from the front with a 6-inch blade," and that was kind of a scary thing to say.
Yeah.
Forget all that. I was talking about one of my fantasies. I want to say stuff like I want to feel the air. I want to go. Yeah, I want to be walking with civilians, and I want to go. Hey guys, just get behind me. And they go, what? What's wrong? And I go, don't like the patterns I'm seeing.
Are you gunned up in this situation?
Fucking gunned up. I'm fucking gunned. My favorite thing the best part of that podcast, which was 3 hours, was when you went, and I'm gunned up, which is glorious. And I went, I can't wait to use gunned up. The problem with Los Angeles is I can't be fucking gunned up. That's an issue.
You might be able to, actually.
If I went to the sheriffs and said, I feel like my life's in danger.
Well, I actually heard, down in San Diego where I used to live, it was nearly impossible when I lived there. But I actually have heard that the sheriff, who is the issuing authority for concealed carry permits, has become more permissive in San Diego. I think in the LA area, I mean, there are some things that you could say, I think that would probably...
If you were an actor and you had a stalker, you could actually you could actually make a case.
You can make a case. You certainly could.
So I'm going to need you to start stalking me.
Yeah, I mean, you probably do have a stalker.
Hopefully.
I tell you, speaking of stalkers and being in LA, we went for a drive today up the Pacific Coast Highway. Beautiful drive. People should make it if they've never done it.
Right.
Less traffic now than there normally is.
Yep.
But what a bizarre sight to see chain link fences separating people from the beaches and signs literally saying, there was not a single person out there. So that was startling.
Yeah, I think it raises important questions. I know this is a pandemic, and I know it's an extraordinary time, and I know that governors and mayors have extraordinary powers in a national emergency, or whatever you want to call this, a crisis, a health crisis. The CDC has to come in and I think there are good reasons sometimes to impose these kinds of measures. But think about this for a second as an American. If you had told me 3 months ago that I would accept the fact that that I was essentially supposed to keep 6 feet apart from everybody and wear a mask. Oh, and by the way, we're going to close down. When Rogan and I and Brendan Schaub Joe Rogan and Brendan Schaub were at the Comedy Store, and we were laughing at the idea that there was I think it was Dana White who had floated the idea about, he goes, if you want to solve this problem, this corona thing, shut shit down for 2 weeks. That was Dana White's idea. And he knows Donald Trump. And I think Rogan was like, tell Donald that. I don't know if that happened. This was probably
right before
but we were laughing
the shutdown?
Yeah, we were laughing. We were all like, can you imagine if you shut down everything for 2 weeks? We were like, can you imagine that? What would that be like? We were kind of laughing about it, how it would never happen.
I remember
these
first
things
hearing
happen.
about it.
I do think that we have to be very careful and vigilant, because there is any time draconian measures and restrictions of liberty happen and last, it begins with the idea that it's for your own good.
Well, it's the slippery slope principle, right? That's what people will say.
That's why I got so angry at Blasio and Eric Garcetti for saying, if you snitch on your neighbor for violating the stay-at-home order, you'll get a reward.
When Joe posted that, I actually thought it was a joke.
Me too.
I went and actually found, and I was like, "There's no way." And
I was so outraged
to find the
by
source.
it.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
And I think maybe I'm dramatic. Young people think I'm dramatic, but I'm 53, and I come from a time when that was, in half the world, that was routine. You did what your government told you, and with no questions asked. And if you had a problem or a question, well, ask the average Chinese person what happens when you are remotely critical of the government, the Communist Party. Go ahead, see how it works for you. See how it works out.
Or North Koreans.
Yeah. Or by the way, I mean, right now I can't do anything. In some ways in California, all due respect to how difficult it must be to be a governor or a mayor, and all due respect to, I'm sure that I'm ignorant to the many good things that these guys may have done. But, I resent the fact that I have not only zero power to do what they tell me, to shut down my children's school and everything else, but also I'm not being communicated with. I don't know how long this is going to last. And maybe that's the virus's fault. But,
well, the lack of communication is not, and that's a dangerous one because that puts people in a helpless position.
Yeah.
Right? You have no control. One of the biggest things.
That scares me. It worries me, man.
And they may not, and I think my suspicion is they don't know what to say. I mean, let's just look at how much the mathematical models have changed from the early days to what they are now. The number of people who are going to die and get infected.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say a portion of what is being put out there is a guess.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay as long as you preface it with, hey, this is a guess.
Yeah.
And not communicating because you don't know what to say is terrible. You need to communicate and be like, listen, we don't know what to say at this point in time. Yeah. We're not withholding anything from you. It changes the perspective and the dynamic, and people would at least go, okay, at least I know that you don't know, and when you do know, you'll tell me.
Look, they're coming up, but today I read that there is a therapy. There are some therapies that are showing some real promise. I would like to remind people that, all due respect again to nationalized healthcare and socialism, I would like to remind people that these very fast-acting therapies are the result of private enterprise. There are people that want to make money. And so what happens is scientists and private labs do everything they can to come up with something that's going to make them a profit. That's where the profit motive really does work. And I'm glad we have that kind of incentive. How long would it take, do you think, for the government? Let's think about this for a second for those of you who are in favor of sort of a big federal, generally a federal oversight, if you're in favor of socially engineering equality. Do you think really that the government would be able to figure out a way to come up with therapies faster? Would there be incentive to come up with therapies faster than private enterprise? It's a question. I don't know. Do you think that the technology that goes into your cell phone, the camera and the GPS and all that stuff, that required creative destruction? There was that company Flip and other camera companies. There were GPS companies, and we figured out to put it all in a phone, and all of us use it. But that required that you had to allow other companies and a lot of people to go out of business and lose jobs so that could happen for us. That happened overnight, and it happened in a marketplace because there was a better way to do things. Do you think the government would allow that kind of creative destruction? Do you? Do you think that if you had sort of this idea of protecting jobs at all costs, that government bureaucrats would allow for that to happen, or would it have to be done in a very timely, routine manner? Those are the questions to ask yourself. And so again, in this time, I'm not impressed with how our bureaucrats are handling this. But then again, it's new. It's a very hard job. And maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll look back on this.
Bureaucracies are not
forgiving.
known for being nimble
Well,
and moving.
Look at the government. Look at the military.
Yeah.
Look at the military. You know what's funny and what I think is dangerous is civilians nowadays are hesitant to criticize the military because you got to support our troops. That's not smart.
I think there's a totally underserved market in what you do for a living. Like Burr did it a little bit. He took a few jabs.
Oh, it was great.
But it's like, hey man, just do that for 45 more minutes.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: I'll give him the information that he needs. I don't want anything from him because
no, I'm working on something. I mean, after $2 trillion in Afghanistan,
So we're going to give you a cocktail party term. Just say it in the sandbox, right?
In the sandbox?
It's vague.
I will not.
It's vague. It could be OIF or OEF. You don't know.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
My time in the sandbox, and people be like,
dude, I fucking like that.
Cocktail hour terms. That's what I'm trying to give you.
When you guys were talking about giving him gas, I was like, I got such a boner. I mean, if I got to give the guy gas, I got to give him gas.
I think that was Mike that said that. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike. Just gas.
There's so much stuff to make fun of in the military. It's like 18-year-old fuckwits with assault rifles. It's amazing.
Anytime you have that much money thrown at that many people in with not a whole lot of accountability. I mean, the amount of money we spend is. I always tell you what,
there's an incredible amount of accountability inside of the military, inside of the units. What you're talking about is where do the dollars? We were talking about this yesterday. Where do they come from? What do the line items look like?
Yeah,
Who's got the over? But imagine the fucking funding documents for the military, right?
Right.
I mean, I forget it's the vast majority of it's not the vast majority, but for our yearly budget in the U.S., what's the DoD spending?
Oh my God, I don't know, but I know that if these numbers are correct, and I've read them for 3 different sources that I trust, or at least were probably sourced well, and it was from the Congressional Budget Office, I think, and a couple. But I think we spent a total of $2 trillion in our efforts in Afghanistan over 17 years. And please
Iraq
understand.
Combined?
No, this is just
Afghanistan.
Yes, sir. And I was careful to read it, so I hope I'm right about this. But let me just tell you what that is. That's $2,000 billion. And
that's
let me
a lot
tell
of
you.
zeros.
So let me give you an example. So that's 2,000 billion. Hold that in your head for a second. 1 million seconds is about 11 days. 1 billion seconds is about 33 years. And that we spent $2,000 billion, and we're giving the country back to the quote-unquote Taliban, which just means student, which is another amorphous and strange term. Yeah.
Well, you have to change your terminology there, too. We're not giving it back to them. We never had it.
We never really
had it.
But I'm reading in this book, Ghost Wars, which is about the CIA's secret history, and it makes you smarter. I mean, it's a clusterfuck. I can understand why we got into this. I did support going in and sending guys like you in after 9/11. I get it. We just have to be aware that let's all try to fucking learn from history. Let's try to. This pandemic is a great dry run for when the real thing hits and starts killing a lot of people. And people.
It's only a dry run though if people actually pay attention and they put the work in. Because you got to have a huge postmortem, right? Like the after action process.
Yes, man.
Yes. We do it after every operation. Why? So we can be sharper. And one of the things that we would talk about often is what are we seeing from the enemy? Give you another cocktail term, right? TTPs. Tactics, techniques, and procedures, right? Those are ours.
Get my hand on my pants.
Or SOPs, standard operating procedures. But what are we seeing from the enemy? Are they staying outside of 5.56 range? We noticed that. We're like
5.56 would be M4s.
M4.
Wow.
Yeah. Really standard.
You know what I do
NATO
in that
cartridge.
situation? You know what I do? If they're standing outside of 5.56 range,
you probably bayonet charge would be my guess.
I like where you're going. I don't use bayonets. I'll belly crawl and I use poisoned throwing stars. That's a
I thought
different
you were going to say
thing.
blow darts for a second.
Well, I can't believe you said that because that's classified. So thanks a lot for blowing my fucking cover.
Yeah.
But I would when my enemy's outside of 5.56 range, I javelin up.
You don't need to do that though. What's 5.56 range? What would you guess it as?
1,500 yards.
No. I think the projectile could probably go that far, but it's going to bounce off a T-shirt.
Right.
For most people with an M4, I would say 300 yards is a long
M4 is a different
shot.
story. It's a shorter barrel, bro.
It doesn't. Then the barrels come in different sizes. Right?
Gotcha,
You can get like full length.
Yeah.
Here's one. Shorties. Right?
Shorties.
That's a 10-inch.
Oh, you weren't talking about a shorty?
Yeah.
All right.
So
You're not talking about a tactical shotgun.
No, because there's no use for the shotgun that you described in the previous tactical.
What's my range
episode.
on a tactical shotgun with
the one you described? So you wanted a 6-inch barrel and a 24-inch magazine tube.
That's exactly right.
And you said bird-shot. So
not double-aught.
Yeah, you said bird-shot.
Yeah,
I remember.
I want double-aught.
Your effective range is probably the end of the magazine tube.
That's a shitty thing to say to me. If the guy's 100 yards away, can I get him?
He'll hear it.
Field.
Yeah, he'll hear it.
I won't hit him.
Do you understand what's going to happen to birdshot if your barrel
All right,
is
what about double-aught? I only use that when they roll up on me in their car.
Yeah.
You know that. We've already gone through that.
For sure. Would double-aught, I mean, I'm sure it would go 100 yards. I don't know what a BB at that distance is going to do to you.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I can't.
What, dude?
That you're tied to that 6-inch barrel with birdshot. But I support it. I'm going to make you one. Actually, I can't give it to you because I'm sure that's illegal in California.
It is. No, I can get I've looked into shotguns.
No, you can get a shotgun here for sure.
Yeah.
But not the short barrel one you're talking about.
Yes, I can. I can get a tactical shotgun.
Are you sure? There's got to be some barrel length requirements.
There might be some barrel length requirements, but it's not long. It's not like it's not what I shoot quail with, and I've shot quail.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And ducks.
You probably got a hacksaw too. I mean, there's ways around everything. We don't have to talk about that though. You know what else surprised me?
Is this podcast the tactical asshole one?
Oh, 100%. This is
this is the one.
Volume 3.
Oh, this is tactical asshole one.
Well, any podcast that you.
I started getting all deep about politics.
Fine. We can do. Well, I was gonna ask you another question because being back in Cali.
Yeah.
So the two things I was saying that stuck with me today. One, like I said, the physical barriers to public space. 2, there's some crazy fucking homeless people around here. And it's something that, honestly, I don't see where I live.
I know.
You'd have to be a hard motherfucker to be homeless in the winter in Montana. And I'm not saying there's not a homeless problem there. Obviously, they'd have to go to shelters or go inside.
Yeah.
But we saw legitimate people napping on the concrete.
Oh, dude.
One dude was face down in probably the happiest heroin nap he's ever had in his entire life.
I've lived in this part of Los Angeles for 25 years off and on, but mostly on. Almost all on. I've never seen it like this in my life, and it's gotten to the point where I'm contemplating getting the fuck out of here.
Well, what's the solution to it? That's what I was going to ask.
So let's talk a little bit about probably in some ways how it starts and how it's diagnosed. The first thing to realize is it's not a housing crisis. This is a mental health and this is a substance abuse problem and a combination thereof. And a couple of things that were going on. One was insurance scams. One was where brokers would say to people who were junkies or in treatment, I don't like that word junkies, because they would say to people that were in treatment, hey, dude, want to make $1,000, $3,000? Go to treatment in Los Angeles. And because they were getting money
elsewhere?
Because treatment centers in Los Angeles need to fill those beds. So brokers would say, I can fill your beds. So the insurance company So the insurance company, they would fill that bed, and as a result, the insurance company would pay that treatment center, say, I don't know, $30,000.
Yeah.
The broker
Getting
would give this guy $1,000 or $2,000. And in some cases, and I know 3 dudes who told me this, who came here, 3 guys that came here as in treatment. They were addicts.
Yeah.
And brokers in Boston said, hey, dude, come do 30 days, and they show you stay in a beautiful treatment center, okay? At one point, it was a double wide on a peach farm, okay? On a peach farm. Yeah. Another time, it was a beautiful house. He had his own TV, everything. He got to be in LA and then they'll do this. They'll go, okay, cool. Now, I'll load you up. Here's a hotel room. You can load up. I'll get you fucking loaded. Here's $2,000. So you go into another treatment center and test hot, and you get there for another, and I'll give you another $3,000-$4,000.
It's a revolving door.
Because that broker's getting a kickback from the treatment center. That was going on to a point where now their insurance companies have gotten really smart. They're not taking outside insurance and all that. But that was a huge issue. So the minute that the treatment center kicks you out, you don't have money to get home.
Yeah.
You're on the street as a homeless person. That's one issue.
So they were going as far as the East Coast.
Oh, dude, they were good. Because why would you go from the East Coast? You want to go to California.
Well, I mean, the weather is better here.
It's better.
If you're going to live on the streets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you don't want to live in Boston. You fucking kidding? It's the cold. I walked a quarter mile in Boston in January, and the woman was like, "Where's your scarf? Where's your scarf?" I was like, "I'm a man." I panicked. I ran inside a store. I was like, "Hey." She's like, "What are you doing?" We sell furs. I was like, "I'm scared."
I'll take 2.
I couldn't deal. I almost bought a fucking fur. But
well, like I said, you're built like a phone book. So.
I am built. I know, but Greyhound. Say Greyhound, please. Say cheetah.
No, I'm not saying either
Dude,
of those
I'm
things.
built like a cheetah.
You're built like a fucking phone book.
I'm a
Yellow
fucking
Pages.
Man cheetah.
No, you say you're the only person who says that about you.
Cheetah?
Yeah, you're the only person that calls yourself.
When
that.
I run with my shirt off.
Yeah,
and people know this.
Which you never do, nor should you.
Women go, "Did somebody stretch human skin over a cheetah?"
No, they don't. Nobody says that.
You don't know.
You would be the term that I would say is most apt for you would be faguar. Which is a real term. I actually looked this one up.
There's Manther. There's Manther.
Because there's
haven't heard the other.
Yeah, there's another dude who I know who his nickname is now Faguar forever, but it's the gay version of a cougar.
I see. Well, I like Jaguar.
Faguar is better for you.
I say Jaguar because that's Spanish for jaguar.
Yeah, no one's ever called you a cheetah or a
You
cat.
don't know. Listen, dude.
No one's ever.
You've never seen me move on someone.
That's because you've
That's
never.
the other thing I want to say.
Because you've never moved on.
Dude, I want to just go like this. I want to go, "Hey, bro, one more time, I'm gonna move on you." Or how about this? Watch this. "Hey, brother, pipe down or I'm coming." Fuck, that sounds good, dude.
It's amazing to me the amount of time you spend going through scenarios, which leads me to let's talk about a few scenarios that
Can I say one more thing about what I want to say? I might have said this last time, but I have a fantasy of doing this also. I want to be like I'm with a bunch of civilians.
Yep.
There's a situation. There's a sitch.
Are you
They're like, "What the fuck? Up? I'm scared." Probably not.
Okay.
And I go, "Maybe," but I go like, "Doesn't matter. I doesn't matter. Live to fight to live." And I go like this. I go, "Let's dance." That's so sexy, man.
So
Let's dance.
Stupid.
And I just go, "Let's dance." Cleared hot.
Didn't you tell me that you've been in a singular fight your entire life?
No, I've actually been in, in real fights. I think I've been in like 7 fights.
Weren't you telling me that you ran from one in fear and panic, though?
No. I asked a guy to come out. I've been watching this YouTube thing, and I wanted to practice this choke. And this guy was heckling my friend, and I said, "Let's go outside."
Are you being serious, or are you telling a story?
No, my ex-wife at the time was very pregnant, and my buddy Mike Muldoon was there, and I said, "Let's go. And he goes, "I'll be waiting outside quietly."
That was that man's response to you?
And he wasn't a big guy, but I was like, "Oh, fuck." And then I was like,
Nerd
I haven't
assassin,
fought
dude.
in a long time.
Nerd assassin.
Yeah, and also he looked like he trained. I was like, "I haven't fought." And then I go, and then my wife at the time goes, "Hey, you have to be on stage in Dallas tomorrow. What are you doing? What if you knock him out, you go to jail. If you don't knock him out, he knocks you out, you have your broken jaw, and then you're getting arrested either way. What are you doing?" And I went, "Oh no," but I already told the guy. So I said to my buddy Mike, I go, "Mike, I can't not go out there. So I'm going to try to go out there, and you have to stop me, okay? I'm going to go out there, and I go, I'm going to go out there, and when I come, you have to get between us because he's big.
Yeah.
I go, you have to stop me. And he goes, "Okay, cool. I'm not letting you go out there, dude." And then apparently the guy was out there shadow boxing, And they called the cops, and the cops came. And I used to drive. I was driving a red Prius. After the show, I walked to my car, and I saw him peeing in the parking lot right next to the venue, and with his buddy. And I got in my Prius, and I kind of wanted. I hate to tell you, I kind of wanted to get out there and just kind of. He didn't look too tough, right? It wasn't like he was a tough guy. But instead I went, my wife goes, I'll kill you and divorce you. What are you talking about? And I was like, yeah, you're right, this is stupid. And I wasn't mad anymore. So as I drove by, I can't remember exactly what I said, but I was in my Prius and I went, nice to meet you, bye. And he was like, what the fuck? And I just drove off. I petered off.
I was going to say,
so that was my last time.
As your battery charged vehicle hummed off into the distance very quietly.
Yes. Oh, I put a guy in an arm bar.
Before you tell us, how I would have, if I would have been there, I'd have been like, dude, I'll totally stop you. Like, I'll push you back. And then I would have gone outside and been like, go fuck him up, Brian.
Yeah.
And I would have just tried to incite the fight.
Yeah.
I would have told you I was going to stop it, but you wouldn't have got out there and be like, he's coming, he's on his way.
Yep. And you would have handed me a machete. Well,
no, I would have stepped back and watched you go to town.
I would have said this. I would have gone, hey, brother, you might best me. You might. But then you got to deal with the dark side. And I'll just look over at you and I go, he's got an ass and a chest on him, I know. He's got a tailpiece on him. He's a thick kid. You know what Naval Special Warfare is?
Oh,
do you know what development group is? That's all I'd say.
You're the only person that I know.
And then I'd Google you and I'd hold it up to his face.
Ever that talks like that.
I know, it's the greatest.
What?
And I get secret pleasure from saying Devgru.
I know you do.
Because I'm on, and CAG. Those are I like just using terminology that most civilians don't understand. Because I'm kind of like.
My goal is to arm you for cocktail parties now. At first I thought it was awkward, but now I'm completely all in on it.
Fucking best. Because what I do is I just go, I act like I'm old hand at it.
Yeah.
Well, the Delta, CAG, sorry. For you guys, it's Delta, of course. We call it CAG.
You guys would probably know them as Delta Force, but yeah, in the biz, it's CAG.
We call them CAG, Combat.
Or the unit.
Application Group. The unit is.
Yeah. That's for your closest circle of friends.
Yeah.
Who'd you put in an arm lock?
I called my buddies in New York. I was practicing jiu-jitsu, and I think it was at Carlson Gracie or wherever. And maybe it was after I trained at Hensel's. I can't remember. But I was at a bar I wonder if it's still there. I used to live on Speedway, and a guy was drunk, and he started talking and mouthing off, and he grabbed me by the fucking throat and pushed me over this plastic poker table.
Fuck.
Yeah, and I saw red, and but he was kind of big. He was kind of big, and you know. And I fucking just threw my arm up, and I just fucking popped his, whether or not I did much to his elbow, but he gave up. I fucking just popped my hips and just held him and was like that. And then his buddy grabbed him, and they realized, the guy goes, that guy, he said something like, that guy knows shit, man, don't do that. And they and he backed off. His arm was hurt. And I remember that's all I had to do.
I've seen that happen a few times in the UFC. People melting their arm.
Yeah.
They just don't want to tap.
Yeah.
It's fucking horrendous.
Yeah. But I called my friends immediately.
Yeah, of course.
I told, hey guys, just so you know, took a long arm and broke it. But then I said I didn't break it. But,
ready for a stripe on your belt.
Yeah,
for sure. All right, on to scenarios, since we're already talking about them. For those listening and watching, these were provided to me by you.
Oh, by me?
Yeah, by you.
Okay.
I'll just read it verbatim. For our next podcast, we should touch on how I'd fight several men at once. The floor is yours.
Well, I mean, there are lots of scenarios. I mean,
okay, here, I'll load one up. 4 dudes come through the front door.
Yeah. Well, I move immediately. There's no hesitation, you understand. Now, the first guy is going to lose an eye. You understand? Now he's going to lose an eye. Now, if he loses an eye, bop, fingers go in the eye, I pull back, I throw him in front of the next guy.
You're just going to go old school finger in the eye.
Yeah, you got to go.
Single digit or double?
Maybe he meets my right hand, but I don't know. I like finger and eye, and then he goes like this, and I push him into the other guy. Next guy, bop, bop, bop. 1, 2, hook.
Yep.
Maybe uppercut. Now I got a fourth guy. All right?
What happened to the third guy?
Well,
first
the
guy
two
lost
guys,
his eye.
I push them in. I punch fucko, the third guy.
Yep.
And then I think I step back and then I feint. And then and usually that guy goes, what's going on? He's the fourth. He's a pissant. He's the last guy. See, the guy who breaches the door is your bravest motherfucker. Yeah. He's your leader. The pissant is the kid who's fucking learning. He's learning.
Yeah.
So I walk and hit him as hard as I can in the face. And then maybe are we talking life and death?
Sure.
He loses his eyes too.
Okay.
All right. Now I got to deal with the two shitheads. One guy's already half blind.
Yep. And one guy's full blind.
Yeah.
So you get 3 eyeballs.
Yeah.
On the belt.
My fingers are wet.
Okay.
All right, dude.
All right.
Now I go hog wild on the guy who got the Cyclops thrown into him.
Yep.
I go hog wild on that motherfucker. I got a lot, and as I'm doing it, I go, time. I got tricks. Or I say, Merry Christmas, motherfucker.
I'd go with
right?
that one.
I'm going crazy on him, and he's probably going to lose a nose.
Yep.
I'm biting him. All right. So you got to create havoc, but keep this in mind. And then what do? I run the fuck out. I get the fuck out.
Well, you're in your house.
Or I run upstairs to where my weaponry is.
Yeah.
I got to create enough problems so that I can either get out the house or I can get to where my weaponry is. And then there's a whole situation which I can't go into.
Yeah.
But just know
involving you trying to locate ammunition.
And just know that I now shoot with both eyes open. Know that.
It's good. Yeah, you went out to the old gun range.
Yes, I did. So now it's bang, bang, bang,
Why
bang.
Why are your thumbs crossed? Why are you doing that? Did he teach you to cross your thumbs?
No, I just get excited.
All right.
But it's here. Bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the easiest way to aim? Speaking of thumbs. I just gave you the answer.
Easiest way to aim is you just, what I do is my target are you talking to pistolas?
Sure.
Pistolas, my target's going to be a little blurry.
Yep.
I got one foot slightly ahead and I'm leaning forward. I'm looking at my fucking sights.
Good.
My sights. Bang.
Plural or singular?
My sight.
Yeah.
Bang, 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 bang. I get optics. Now chances are I start squeezing before I get optics. I learned that from Mike Glover.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
You don't have time.
You don't have to be a full extension.
I don't have time for optics. I'll get my optics.
I feel like you'd probably get more myopic than myopics.
Well, you get tunnel vision. That's where controlling your breathing comes in.
Yeah, well.
I do combat breathing. Yeah. And I separate myself and watch myself.
We're going to go to a range one day.
Yeah.
And then what I would really like to do with you is set up like a force-on-force scenario.
What's a force-on-force?
Where I shoot you with wax bullets.
That sucks, though.
That
does. Hurts so bad.
Yeah, because they'll be in the freezer the night before, too.
Well, that's not fair at all.
You can put yours in there as well. You'll have them, too.
God damn it.
And we'll test run all your shit.
So I'm going to fucking shoot. So we're going to have a gunfight.
Yeah, simunition gunfight.
No, the problem with that is you're too fucking accurate. Fuck you, man.
I'll say, I'll be at your house inside of the next 6 hours.
That's
live your life.
That's actually that's such a fucked up. That'd be the most fucked up 6 hours, but I actually love that idea.
Yeah, but I'd come 10 hours later.
You just gave me an idea for something.
Yeah, but I'll come 10 hours later, right?
No, fuck you. You can't do that, dude. I can't deal with that kind of stress. It's got to be within the next 4 hours.
No, I'll tell you, I'll be at your house between, I'll say something like, I'll be there between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m.
I am already nervous.
And here's the problem.
And where are you going to shoot me? Don't shoot me in the fucking neck with your simulation.
Right in the cock and balls.
You're such a piece of shit.
Right in the cock and balls.
I'm wearing a cup.
You know the worst place actually is in your fucking calf.
Oh.
It hurts so bad.
Ow.
So fucking bad.
Ow.
Even though I have been shot directly in the lip with one before too.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, it swelled up like a bitch. Jocko was there laughing at me as it happened. He's just
no face shooting.
We always... the gentleman's agreement we have when we do force is usually belt line and below.
Belt line and below.
Yeah, shoot him in the legs. It hurts like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
But I actually, Adam Brown, a guy who was at Development Group Gold Squad and got killed, he didn't lose, actually I heard he had his eye removed. I don't know if that's accurate, but his right eye was substantially damaged. He was in the rafters, we have the kill houses, and he was wearing eye protection. The fucking round went up underneath his eye pro.
Sucks. Hey, first of all, don't shoot him in the eye.
Yeah, well,
that just happens.
It happens.
So you guys train with simunition.
Yeah, force-on-force training is actually incredibly important because
I believe it.
the feedback that you get is interesting, right? You're a tough dude, like, oh, I'm just going to go right down this hallway until you're getting peppered with those things, and it fucking hurts.
Dude.
And you start developing a much closer relationship with cover.
The difference
versus
between
concealment.
hitting mitts and learning how to punch at a human being who's moving and punching you back is literally night and day. It's just a different sport. Yeah. Oh, cool, you can hit mitts, that's great. You can kick really hard, kick a bag really hard, awesome. Now, what happens when you get punched in the fucking stomach, the jaw, somebody who's countering, stepping back? I mean, that's why you're not boxing unless you're sparring. And you're not really even sparring unless you're actually swinging for the fences and you might get knocked out, which, by the way, I don't do.
Yeah.
Anymore.
But imagine how tired you'd be if I told you I'd be here between 10 to 6. And
I am already exhausted. I'm already nervous.
I actually would probably just come the next night. Because you'd stay up the whole night. You'd be pacing. You'd be checking windows.
Yeah, I got a soul snatcher coming for me.
Yeah, and then or maybe I wouldn't even just come at all. I would just completely fuck with you and never show up.
I know what I do.
What would you do?
Yeah, I got no problem. You coming to my house?
Yeah.
Yeah, I found a corner.
That's fine.
Just find a corner. Bro.
I'll leave you there. You can hide in the corner. I'll take the rest of the house.
I need coffee breaks and bathroom breaks.
Yeah, that's probably when I'll show up. It changes. Dude, it. Like a
force on force would be so fucking scary.
It's it's crazy too. A lot of the movement,
so scary.
A lot of the movement that we do. Again, we'll get to the movie shit because it's atrocious. But I've had conversations with people. I've done a little bit of the tech advising, and they'll say, "How would you do this?" And you explain it to them, and they're like, "That's boring," because it's not. It doesn't have to be fast, and it got to the point where you don't even need to talk. Like, it's very quiet. Yeah. So we would be doing these force-on-force drills, and so we would just pick a couple guys, like, hey, you're going to go be the aggressor, and they would be doing, like, this surreptitious clearance, and you'd hear, pop, 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 shooting, or they'd breach a door, like, down the hallway, and then it's just quiet, and you're in your room just like, God fucking damn it. Then you start hearing footsteps, shuffling around. It's the worst.
And they're coming to get you.
Yeah. And it's worse when you can't hear them, when it's quiet.
And you have to fucking...
And it's my buddies, right? I know the same tactics
that
they do.
Still sucks a dick.
Oh, I'm going to lose.
I can't think of... Dude, I'm telling you right now, we could make... And nobody steal this. Let's talk to Mike Glover. Right. Let's make millions of dollars. We could set this shit up as a business. You know how many guys... and gals,
it probably already exists.
Bullshit. Not if we do it right way. This could be, you come for a couple of hours and you learn how to actually be in a gunfight. That's not perfect training for martial arts.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
It would be interesting.
And you have to learn against professional soldiers, elite soldiers. Those are your instructors.
Well, and I would open it up to beyond just the firearm. Like if you are a martial artist, say you're a traditional martial artist who believes that karate or kung fu is going to save you. And I have nothing...
you can disarm people.
And I have nothing negative to say about those things. I'm not saying those with any judgment, but I'm saying beyond, you don't have to use a pistol if you don't want. You can use... Let's field test, pressure test in a controlled environment where you can stop if you want to. Yeah. But you have access to the force. No,
you have a kill house. You have a kill house.
This has to exist, though.
No, because paint gun, you have a lot of territory, a lot of stuff with flags. I'm talking about simunition, which is a motherfucker. Yeah. And then your insurance would be a bitch.
But you could get it.
You get it, and then you have a kill house. You actually have you teach people what to do in a home invasion. You teach people what to do in those situations. And you don't need an area more than a house. That'd be so sick.
Yeah, and then I would even add on top of that, I would send somebody to their house to talk to them about their particular tactical situation. Oh, fuck. Just to walk through and be like, hey, this is, like we were talking about at your other house before. Like, I would go downstairs. I'm like, why? This house is actually the same, right? Like, if anything happened down here, fuck it. Like, thieve away. Take whatever you want to. Stay at the top of the stairs.
Correct.
And
that's what I would do.
Yeah, that's why you got insurance, right?
Of course, I don't care. Take whatever.
But that's
my car was stolen. If they find the guy, knowing me,
yeah,
I'm not gonna.
You'd probably hire him to work around.
I got to see who he is. He might be just some dumb who's like, fuck it. If he's a kid, I'm gonna be like, you fucking, hey, all right.
Yeah.
Please.
But that additional value of actually going to your structure and looking around, like, consider this. This is a good corner. People are like, oh yeah, I'm gonna hide right here. I'm like, that's drywall, dude. Like, if this is a two-way range,
shoot right through it.
Oh, of course it will.
Problem.
Yeah. Well, depending on the round, but most likely, for sure.
Yeah.
But having that conversation at a house
Does
where
a car door help me?
Does it help you do what? When driving your car?
Does it block a 9mm round?
No.
It doesn't?
No.
My car door doesn't.
A ball 9mm round is going to zip through that. A hollow point round, you might have a chance because it's going to expand.
And an assault rifle is going right through it?
Yeah, it's going to go through like butter.
What the fuck?
Yeah, you can shoot through doors just fine.
What about, but not an engine block. I can get behind the engine block.
Sure.
But
your Tesla doesn't have one.
Fuck, that's true.
And I don't think the batteries in your car are going to respond well to bullets.
They're probably not going to respond well to bullets.
Yeah, the interaction. That's
why
nothing about how
exactly
Tesla
why
works,
I carry smoke bombs, and nobody fucking and I want to say this to all the operators and you people are. It's amazing how it's like ankle locks. I wish I could teach people how important smoke bombs are, because you guys, it's just like jiu-jitsu. With John Danaher said, "Hey, stop." Dean Lister said, "Stop ignoring the other 50% of the body." You fucking guys don't understand how to fight through smoke. I always carry smoke bombs, dude.
Do you carry the high concentrate ones or the regular?
I'm not telling you.
Yeah. You know, people die every year in training centers because there's a lot of tunnels in the urban training centers, and high concentrated smoke will get dropped down there and they'll get stuck and suffocate. That's how powerful they are.
I did not know that.
Yeah. If you dropped
that's a problem.
Here's a cocktail term.
No, what I do is this. Like, if you're there.
We just call it HC, though. You need to get an HC smoke. That's a good cocktail term.
But I mean, if 4 guys come in, I'm dropping a smoke bomb.
Do you have any idea how long it takes for it to actually fill a room? It's not fucking Batman, dude. You're not Christian Bale.
Well, that's the one I use from Wayne.
That's not a smoke bomb.
Well,
obviously you didn't watch the origin story. It's a powder that he throws.
Yeah.
That's not a smoke bomb.
Well, maybe the powder that I throw is a form of smoke, and it sticks to your body.
What color of smoke would you use?
It's bright red.
Now
you get covered in bright red, and good luck evading the police.
Why would they get covered in bright red?
Look, there's another thing I do.
Why would it be covered in bright red?
Well,
are they rolling in it? Are they putting the smoke bomb in their pocket?
No, it's sticky powder.
Oh, now it's a sticky powder smoke bomb.
Powder.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure.
The other thing that you can use is you can keep Hornets in jars, and you throw the jar at their feet, and the Hornets come up and sting your
What if
your
the jar doesn't
face.
break? You need to have the Hornet jars along the back of your cabinetry or the backsplash, and you have a hammer and you just run by and break it.
That's
then you
one
have a weapon
idea.
in
The
your
problem
hand.
is that they see movement and they'll come after you. So don't tell me about Hornet defense. You don't know shit about. You're not. Are you? Last time
I don't know
you
shit
weren't
about
an
Hornets.
entomologist.
I am not.
So what I do is I take sugar glass. It's made of sugar glass. So when I'm a Hollywood actor, when I jump through a window, it's made of sugar glass. All right.
How many
Looks
times
like
have you
glass.
done that?
I've done that.
0 times
No,
is my guess.
I threw Joe Rogan through sugar glass once when we were young men on news radio, and I have jumped through sugar glass another time. Enough times to know that sugar glass is a good Hornet holder. And I throw those. And by the way, I don't give a fuck how tough you are. I don't care if you're Devgru. If I throw a bunch of fucking Japanese Hornets, 6 of them in a sugar glass jar, you guys are running the other direction.
And in a room that's filled with smoke, right?
Yeah. So I got smoke and then Hornet. So it goes smoke and then Hornates. Enjoy that.
Yep.
So again, I think outside the box.
Yeah. So you got levels, and then you're going to go ankle lock. Then you're going to go firearm.
If you get close enough for me to touch you.
All right. So here's a good one: the shoot no shoot, right?
Yeah.
Since we're talking about kill houses, because you have to present people with situations that perhaps are on the blurred edge, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's not that they're on the blurred edge. The easiest way to stress people out in environments like this is to reduce time, right? It's the easiest way to introduce stress.
Yes.
So I'm going to show you some targets.
Good.
And all you get to say is shoot or no shoot.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to let you look at it for 1 second.
Okay.
Which
this is very
is
good.
Far too long.
This is very good.
Okay. The first one, unfortunately, I can't click through, so you're going to get to see the first one. Close your eyes.
By the way, just so you know, here's another technique I use.
Close your eyes.
All right.
No, you're good.
All right. Just so you know, and this is another thing I do. If I'm fighting 2 guys and they come in, you know what I do? I look off and I go, shoot them. And then they go, what the fuck? And they turn. Yeah. And then I close distance.
Diversionary tactic.
Yeah.
I like
do
it.
that too.
Okay. So you can look at this one first because it's the first one, right?
Yeah.
Shoot, no shoot. You've already thought far too much.
Well, I mean, he's not.
Shoot or
Wait,
no
wait,
shoot.
But he doesn't have a weapon.
So shoot or no shoot.
No shoot.
Okay, that's the only response that I want from you is shoot or no shoot.
No shoot.
All right. Shoot or no shoot?
Shoot. No shoot. Fuck. No shoot. Hands are up. No shoot. No shoot.
Okay. How far would you let him get his hands down?
Keep your hands there. Keep your hands there. I got to see your hands.
What if he just lowered him down in front of him?
I'm probably going to shoot him.
Okay.
I
Ready?
don't have time for that. Yeah.
Shoot or no shoot?
Fuck, dude. I'm shooting. I don't care. I got to shoot because I see a backpack and I see a cell phone. I can't. And I'm fucking stereotyping the guy. I apologize. And I lived in the Middle East. I feel like a piece of shit.
They would do stuff like this. So there's a variety of paper targets, right? So we're using, actually we would use sim rounds sometimes on paper targets.
Oh my God.
So what they'll do.
Dude, you can't come at me with that and with a knapsack and a cell phone. You can't do it. How much sleep have I had? I'm on edge.
Yeah.
Knowing me, I'm drawn.
So
do I have my gun out?
Oh yeah, you're looking down the sights.
Fuck. I
With
probably would.
How many of your eyes open?
Both eyes.
That's good job. So here's the thing.
Wait, now you this is bullshit. You got to let me. Hold on.
No, you get us 1 second. Stop crossing your fucking thumbs. Here's the deal too. You get conditioned to seeing this target, right? Like you'll see this target over and over again in kill house runs.
Yeah.
And then what they would do is they would tape. They would cut off like a pistol and tape that over the cell phone.
That's bullshit, dude.
No, it's not. That's and then you still get the same amount of time. There's another one they used to do.
It's amazing.
Where a guy
training.
was super aggressive and he would have a pistol in his hand, but then they would put a badge there. Fuck. And the badge it looked like the fucking barrel of a 50 cal. I've smoked that dude so many times.
Of course you have. It just happens that way.
All right, ready? You're gonna have.
Hold on, because I got to see. I might give him gas.
I'm going to break your
All right,
fucking
sorry
thumbs
about my
if you
thumbs.
cross them again. Are you ready?
Yeah. Shoot.
Good. Ready?
Yeah. Shoot.
Which one?
The one on the left.
You sure?
Yeah.
Who's holding that gun? Because there's a target where a guy's holding a gun to his own head.
What's that?
There's a target where the guy's holding.
Yeah, but that guy was holding the gun to his head, so fuck that guy. He's dead.
Where would you shoot him?
I would shoot him right in the hand. I'd shoot him in the gun. I'd shoot him right in the gun.
You would shoot him in the hand that has the finger on the trigger pressed up against.
I would shoot him in the gun.
Uncross your thumbs.
I'm shooting him right in the gun.
Why? Why don't you aim 2 to 3 inches above the gun and shoot him right in the fucking face?
I don't trust myself.
So you would rather shoot him in a... Oh, my God.
I shoot the gun out of his fucking hand. Now, look, I'm probably going to catch his face.
Why would you shoot the gun out of his hand?
Because that's all you have to worry about is
Remove
the
the ability for him to manipulate his trigger finger.
gun.
Which is right in that
That's
little...
what I'm doing.
Right in the little gap.
The gun goes. If I shoot him in the gun, it's gonna eliminate that,
No.
that
No.
chance.
No.
All right. Hold on.
That's
hold
it.
on,
That was
hold
the 5. Now we're going to do we'll review some footage.
on. Okay.
But, I mean, that's the... Oh, I never even explained to you how the easiest way to discriminate a target. So what are you first looking at when you look through all these?
I'm looking for guns.
So where are you looking, though, specifically, on their anatomy?
I was probably looking at their face.
So you learn that the face doesn't matter.
Yep.
Initially, the first look is always at their hands.
Always the hands.
And so that's what you would end up. You just get so fixated. You can look at their hands and identify incredibly rapidly. And then, if you have more distance, you can look at the facial expressions.
Yep.
Are they angry? Like, we looked like spacemen. Are they running at you? Because if a fucking UFO landed out there, we're not charging that, right?
No.
So that's an indicative behavior of hostile act, hostile intent. So, but it
How much
starts
gear?
with the hands.
How much gear do you have typically on a mission on your body?
Nowadays, with the lighter gear, you're probably at about 50 pounds. But in my heaviest, probably 110 to 120.
Simply too much weight.
No, it is, for sure.
Especially if you're...
Even from a mathematical perspective.
If you're taking a house...
Well, you take a lot of that. You can take... I mean, I'm talking to like a backpack and stuff.
Yeah.
There's...
you take that off.
Yeah, not to get deep into the weeds, but there's these phase lines that you cross, and there's areas where... like we'll carry ladders to get over walls.
Yeah.
But they're collapsible, but at some point you need to extend them. So you have places where you kind of rally up, get your shit ready, drop your stuff
And
off.
you got to grease the ladder up so it doesn't make noise when you pull it up open.
Yeah, or you can open it just at a distance or slowly.
Yeah.
right? It's not. This isn't a painting ladder that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right. It's not a Home Depot special that has like the little hinge arms.
Right.
Never mind. Yeah. You're not an expert on ladders.
Yeah. Well,
All right. Neither am I, though, by the way.
I understand.
But I can tell you it's.
That's how we breach walls. You do. It's funny how you guys use ladders. I use trampoline.
That's probably really hard to carry out in the field and set up quietly.
For you, I have a trampoline squad.
That comes in the field with you.
Yep. Or I have a human trebuchet. That's French for trebuchet.
Trebuchet is actually one of my favorite weapons.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it is. All right, so the first movie for today is a fucking dumpster fire of cinema.
Okay, good.
It's called Tears of the Sun. Have you ever seen it?
I love the name. Fucking Tears of the Sun.
This is a SEAL movie. Bruce Willis plays a SEAL.
Bruce Willis.
Yeah. So he actually had no hair in this movie either. So, it was, and this is a long time ago.
Okay.
They, it was a hostage rescue of a doctor, I believe. I haven't watched this movie in forever, so this description might be a touch off. And for whatever reason, they stay, and so they are now going to get in a big old gunfight. Right? They're going to give some people some gas.
Yep.
In an open field. So we'll let it play out for a little bit, and then we'll get your take on it. Here we go.
First of all, you guys are fucking full auto, and you're running out of ammo as you shoot blindly.
No, they were definitely aiming.
No, they were not.
Yeah,
they were shooting generally in the direction and not aiming. That guy doesn't know where he's shooting. He's shooting from the hip, so he can go fuck himself.
What do you think the odds are of being able to hit anything running while looking through a scoped weapon? Do you know what kind of gun that is, by the way?
That looks like an M1 rifle, but that might be an
M14.
That's an M14.
Badass. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, those things are awesome.
But that's an old school rifle, right? Yeah, that's an M14. That's what I meant. Okay, so now these guys are very close together. He's got sound suppressors. They got all kinds of exotic weaponry. For whatever reason, flares are going off.
He just yelled grenade, which means somebody threw one at you. You would yell frag out.
Yeah,
that guy.
Shitty throw, by the way. You suck at throwing. That guy sucked at throwing. That's not an athlete. I'm going to shoot a fucking RPG at a tree for no reason to bring it down. And suddenly all these other trees are falling down. And you guys are generally walking and shooting blindly.
In the open.
I mean, and you're grouped together. You're all grouped together, so a grenade will take you the fuck out, or so will a booby trap. Dum-dums.
Have you noticed so far that only grenades have killed people?
Only grenades, not one bullet. But I'm already out of weaponry.
That's an M60.
That's a saw right there.
No, that was an M60.
Isn't that a saw?
The other guy was shooting a saw.
Yeah.
That's the saw.
Yeah. I shot a saw, and my barrel went straight up in the fucking ceiling.
Yeah, you have the strength, probably the small job.
No, I can pull it down. He's got a sound suppressor for no reason. That's a bazooka.
It's not a bazooka. That's a law.
What is that?
Light anti-armor weapon.
Oh.
These dudes had a
acting
satchel of grenades.
I know. They got too many grenades. Way too many grenades.
And then actually, so there was apparently in an elevated position just outside of this clearing that they chose to fucking
went
assault.
Like that.
No, these guys had there was like another force that descends on them. We won't watch the rest of it.
I'm kind of intrigued now. Well, they're out of ammo, by the way.
Oh yeah.
They're completely out of ammo. These morons.
The number of times that I've ever been taught to openly assault in a field when you can maneuver through the trees, which, by the way, will stop bullets, right? Cover and concealment are a great thing. Concealment doesn't stop bullets, just so you know.
No.
Cover does.
Cover
Yeah,
does.
they went full back dive into the open field, running, shooting.
Yeah, well, it was. I'll tell you what it was. It was cavalry charge tactics from the fucking 1500s.
Yeah.
Okay, when you just charged in without being clandestine. Well, I'm glad the guy has a sound suppressor on his M4 because, you know.
I know that you're saying that intentionally, and I'm not going to address it because you know that you're incorrect by describing it like that.
It's a sound suppressor.
It's a suppressor. We covered this on the last
I know,
one.
but a suppressor.
Yeah. So I'm not even going to play your fucking childish game.
I know. I like to just.
Do you notice that they did their Civil War tactic maneuvers just to get into grenade range? It seems like the whole point of that was to get to a point where you could throw a grenade.
They were laying cover for no one as they ran forward, and then they threw grenades.
This is the shit that your industry makes. You're responsible for this.
It's so good.
All right, this is an awesome one too.
And on those sets is super macho. Okay, what is this movie?
So this is one of the more well-known actors in your space, right? He's known for his action movies. It is Steven Seagal.
Oh.
Now this movie,
that guy is legit. Just ask him, because he's legit.
Correct.
Just ask him.
yeah. Have you ever met him?
I've never met him.
I know a few people that have and describe him as just a walking cockbag.
I've never heard a good thing about that guy, and I know people have worked with him.
Yeah.
I really haven't. I'm not trying to be. I don't like talking badly about anybody because I don't know him. But
Some people deserve it, though. Some people deserve it.
I've not heard good things about him. I'm just saying. Maybe I'd like him, but I'm just not. I'm just really. Well, you know what? I worked with his ex-wife, and she was married to him, Kelly LeBrock.
Yeah.
And yeah, I not a flattering picture.
Correct.
Bad guy.
So I guess his model is 2 to 3 movies per year direct to DVD. So somebody compressed a 2-hour movie into this 2-minute clip.
Oh. That's awesome.
Which is probably a minute too long if this is the highlight reel of a Steven Seagal movie.
Armored military vehicles took to the streets of Kabul.
Dog bite is on the ground.
He's a.
Did you see? Well, I'm just going to let it play.
That was good.
No
he just
recoil.
no.
Apparently shirts are
These guys,
optional.
Look at these guys with their fucking huge arms.
To your right as you come out. Confirmed. Humvee inbound.
Now, he's got a lot of guys who work with him, who hang with him all the time.
Look at this acting.
Oh, that was good. These
This
guys
is
in their giant arms.
this thing is obviously completely shot up there at the Blue Cloud Ranch. The
That's right.
the
That's
entire
right,
thing.
That's right.
Congressman Cooper, I'm Sergeant Richter of the U.S. Army. We're taking you back to base.
We should go back. We can't.
I got to skip this to the end because it's the most important
Some of
part.
the best shit I've seen.
This is the best part, though, the closer. Not this.
It was a very long day, brother.
Every once in a while.
He said that was a very long day, and he said every once in a while.
Yeah. Put your headphones back on.
God damn.
Everything about this movie, like, do you think that they even have a technical advisor?
I think Steven Seagal knows.
Oh, he
warfare.
probably acts as the technical advisor.
Yeah, I think he knows his warfare.
Yeah,
God.
you can go back and watch, like, he's preemptively flinching before shooting the fake sniper rifle. Like,
It's so weird.
there's no recoil. I actually did because I hate this walking, steaming pile of shit. And I did a video clip where, from this movie, I put it on Instagram. He was switching, like, it was like right arm full auto, left arm full auto, not even touching his shoulder, just
Yeah, of course.
hitting everything.
Of course.
Yeah, this guy's a fuckbag.
Yeah, seems like a.
So on that, we're going to now watch
It's a little bit like the guys who never did sports in high school or college, and now they're really into sports. It's like guys who never.
Have you ever did you know Steven Seagal is a cop?
Oh, yeah.
Because this is Steven Seagal, lawman. He's going to now teach firearms training to a guy who has to take the qualification.
Oh, yeah.
Once a year, every officer has to qualify with firearms in order to use their pistol on duty. And next week is Alex's test.
See how it goes right where I want it?
Yes, sir.
Right there.
Okay. Estimate the distance from that target.
Well, I've done this. I've shot, and I have on video me hitting every one of the targets a lot faster than that. And I was the second time I'd ever shot.
Well, look at he's talking about the paper target.
Yeah,
So one thing helps with accuracy, and that's proximity to your target.
Yeah, he's about 5 body lengths tops from that. Tops.
He's about 7 feet from that
He's
target.
about 7 feet. So,
Yeah.
good job, dude.
I'd say it's hitting.
If I don't pass weapons qualification, I definitely don't want to be behind a desk. I heard Chief Seagal's a heck of a shot.
What's wrong with his grip?
Well, I don't like where his thumb's at. And
Yeah,
I don't
no
like-
shit.
I don't
You know
like
who's
I
been
don't
doing
like
that a
I
lot
don't like
today?
His thumbs are crossed right now.
Yeah.
It's making me mad.
Yeah.
What you're gonna see with me, dude, is you're gonna see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why I was saying that you can just drive your thumbs at what you want to shoot. You just point your thumbs.
Bang.
Especially at a distance of about 4 feet.
Oh, you're pointing your thumbs.
Yeah.
At what you want to shoot.
So you were talking about before, Glover was saying that you can shoot before you fully acquire optics. And the easiest way to do that, at close, like if I actually had to shoot at this distance, I would not look at my sights.
You just point your thumb.
Yeah, I wouldn't. So you were doing the fishing pole, which is really common. People will
that's true.
arc in.
You want to do here.
Yeah, you don't want to go low. You basically want to.
Taylor told me that.
Yeah, you have one hand that basically comes to center line. The other hand is indexing your holster, getting the pistol. They come together, but you can start shooting right out of the holster. But if you have your thumbs come together, right, and then you can just drive your thumbs at what you want to hit. Yeah.
That's very good to know.
Yeah.
Dude, I feel sorry for the next 4 guys that come into my house.
I know. I was thinking about that. But you don't have any bullets, so it doesn't
And
really
you know what I
matter.
say? Thumbs! I say, thank you, thumbs! Bang, bang.
I know you have a gun, but you don't have any bullets. So
No, I go like this. Thank you, Andy!
So gay. All right, this gets even better.
And I'm going to ask him for pointers to help me knock off the rust.
No creative editing happening.
I'm going to start out close, shoot a bullet hole. He's supposed to try to shoot it in the bullet hole.
Put it in the same hole. Damn.
I'm trying to pass down some of the secrets that have made me a master shooter.
Oh, my God. He's such a blowhard. I'm trying to pass down secrets of maybe a master shooter.
That made me a master.
Made me a master shooter. What
I don't want to just help Alex pass this test, but I want him to be a better marksman for life.
All right, ready?
I'm not calling that 30 feet.
I'll give him 30 feet because I don't care. I'll give him 30 feet. Let's see what he's got here.
Oh, he's only going to shoot a single round.
Damn. Both in the same hole, buddy.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Notice how they're
I want you to do this.
not
Yeah,
showing the target.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh! I really didn't want this hole to get bigger than a silver dollar.
So now they're back to
I
about
want you to
5
take
feet.
front sight. I want you to put that.
Not happy with his thumbs, dude.
No, so his grip on his weapon is unstable at best. So it's even worse. It's just a shit show. We'll end with this one, the videos. This is him actually making an arrest. This is him on the job.
I know what I would do.
Most cops have their own routine in order to get their head in the right place before they hit the streets. And I have one too. I look at this every day.
I'll tell you what I do as well, man.
Sun Tzu is one of the classic master tacticians. I think about his tactics and his strategy all the time in my police work.
John, what you got, brother?
All right, guys, we need to serve an arrest warrant on a guy named Stephen Kirkwood. He's wanted on a weapons charge. He lives in a trailer in an alley down in South
guys.
Phoenix.
The guys.
Notice only one person has a weapon out.
It's Steven.
Stephen Kirkwood! It's the sheriff's office. If you're inside the trailer, come out. CD, you guys got? No movement? Can you see all the way to the back? Just a dog.
And this guy's good, huh? Because it looks like he just made it out of there. Dog on the
I
bed.
can run after him. That's it.
Hey, someone's working on this right here.
Keep looking, guys. Let's not give up.
Hey, around the corner, there's a guy walking over here. It looks like our guy.
Hey, man, drop the bag.
He's holding the gun up in the air like this.
Oh yeah, no, I'll put this on the video so people can see it. He's going.
Wow.
He's an actual deputized sheriff.
Yeah, I know. Because people get starstruck and they'll make him a deputy.
Yeah. He would have probably 50-50 odds of hitting, if he pulled that trigger, of blasting that dude in the back. He would have the same odds as hitting the fucking guy that he probably would want to
Yeah,
hit.
but it's so cool when you do this. You hold it up like that.
You notice that none of the other officers have their weapons out?
No.
Yeah, because, you know.
No, that guy looks tough.
Yeah, it's a hard dude.
Wow, that's great, Steven. I'm glad you used a lot of that Sun Tzu technique with your 7 dudes fully armed on what looks like a guy who's been on a meth binge.
You know what's crazy is that people believe that shit, though.
Well,
like, that show made it to network TV. How does that happen?
Because it's just like, what? Really? It's a movie.
So how does a fuckbag like that, though, survive? I have yet to hear somebody say anything good about him.
Because I just think he's somebody who is, in a lot of ways, a circus act. He's a sideshow.
But isn't there some liability with that?
Yeah, like comics make fun of him and stuff. Like Rogan used to have a whole bit on him. But, you know, it's like, and then Boss Rutan was like, are you telling me this guy's teaching Anderson Silva? I can't even address this. I can't even talk about it.
Yeah.
So he's made his living as somebody who talks a big game. And he's tall, he's 6'5", he's big. So in Hollywood, he's dealing with these little dudes who just are like, okay, I guess. And when you tell people, before there was the internet, and you tell people that you were in the mafia in Japan, and that you killed people, and that you work for the CIA, and also and you're one of those guys, it's fun to believe. And then he's a good actor. The guy's not a bad actor. I got news for you. I think his acting is quite good in some of the movies he's done.
Are you joking right now?
Let's put it this way. Some of the movies he did back in the day, like that got him famous, his acting was believable. He's an actor.
So shouldn't he get better at acting with time?
Well, I don't know. But if you look at what he does, it's the other people around him that aren't that good. Acting-wise, not bad. He smolders with intensity. He says his lines where you believe him. That stuff is...
I could only see believing him in certain very narrow roles.
Sure, and that's what he plays.
Yeah.
And so then he took that same acting, and Hollywood, the Hollywood brass, believed him. They were like, the guy's big. He looks like he knows his martial arts. He teaches Aikido. Back before Jiu-Jitsu came along, Aikido was too deadly to show you all his secrets. There are ways to he's a good packager and a marketer. So he never put himself in a position with, and even like a boxer or a guy who fights, he's like, I don't know, that dude seems pretty sure of himself. And also he's got a bunch of rough dudes around him. He knows how to use weapons. He's got knives and guns. He carries shit. You're like, I don't know, man. That dude seems like a lot. And you end up ignoring it.
I had a buddy who worked directly for him and did some shooting instruction with him. He said it was one of the most dangerous environments.
I'm sure. They say that with the stuntmen that work with him. I've talked to a lot of people who've worked with him. Men and women, by the way.
He was shopping for jewelry, jade jewelry specifically, and he was wanted to try on a necklace, but the portion that goes around your neck shaved off some of his fake hair.
Yeah.
And my buddy, he was like, hey, I need you to go to the car and get the gun bag. And in his range bag was just full of all like the spray on hair.
Sure. Yeah. Well, usually you have a when I do school, they dust my hair. They used to dust it, but then I was sneeze, so now they paint my hair
to make it
look thicker. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's all the case. But yeah,
I don't think they're dusting his hair.
I've never met the guy, so the problem with speaking about Seagal is that I'm only talking about what I've heard, and then I always have this strange thing where I don't like talking behind the dudes like that's back, because I have to be willing to fight him if I'm going to do it. I always feel like a little bit like
fair.
If I'm going to say bad things about him, I have to know they're true. I have to know him. I just don't know. But having said all that, I think what got him to the dance, not a bad actor, but an actor. So, but one of the few actors who said, I'm also truly a badass, and had a whole backstory for it. But when they tried to actually
whether or not the backstory was accurate.
When journalists actually tried to look into it, when they actually tried to see if there was any evidence of that, they couldn't find any.
Yeah.
And then he'll tell you it was all secretive, and
Sure, of course it was.
You know what I mean?
You'll probably read about him in the book that you're reading.
Anybody that tells you all these things, and there's zero corroborating evidence, usually either he's the baddest guy on the planet, or maybe he's an actor in Hollywood who made millions of dollars convincing people that his movies were real.
This same guy that worked for him was helping him choreograph an action sequence.
Yeah.
And he was like, tactically reloading and all sorts of stuff. And he said he practiced it a bunch. And then the camera went live, and he completely made up his own shit. It was like, I decided to feel like I had to get in the moment, and just.
Yeah.
And Bryan was just like, I give up.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll be over at Craft Services. I don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of stories like that.
Yeah.
I think as a lawman, I would be the worst, because I'd be like, listen, let me give you a reading list. You better read the books. I'm going to come back. There's going to be a quiz. If I don't see changes in your heart and mind, I'm going to have to arrest you.
I don't think that's how the laws work.
Doesn't work.
But I think it would actually make you a better cop.
Yeah, maybe.
The cops that I know, I think one of their best tools is their personality, like their ability
100%.
to sit down. You can completely disengage from situations and de-escalate by just, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
You don't have to. I find that maybe I'm a little bit biased when it comes to law enforcement. I give them the the benefit of the doubt for sure, and I also know how ridiculously hard their job is.
Oh, fuck yeah.
But I find most of them, like, they're happy that they don't have to use their gun.
Well, dude, how about shout out to the LAPD who found my stolen car. My car got stolen. They found that shit a day later. I was like, how are you going to find it? And this guy, I know, he goes, they'll find it. They'll find it. Unless he ghost plated it or something, but they're going to find it a day later. And I'll tell you something. Every single one of them, every one of the cops I talked to, they were all like, I'm sorry this happened to you. I hope you have a better day. I loved them. I was very impressed with the LAPD. I really was. So shout out to you guys.
Did it just
Thank
get
you.
abandoned somewhere?
I'll find out. I don't know the details. But the detective called me. The officer called me. They get so busy that I haven't been able to get in touch with them.
Was it used as a restroom?
We'll find out.
I hope that it was.
It's at the fucking tow yard.
I hope that some
I gotta see
vagrants
what's
used
what.
it as just a porta potty.
Hopefully.
That'd be sweet.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
That's our Tactical Asshole episode for today, Brian.
I think it went very well, and I think that we covered, and I hope a lot of operators are at least understand the value of smoke bombs.
I think
of diversion.
if they were to
shoot him,
I think if they were to dictate this, it could become required reading on like the commandant's list.
Yeah, and you can say things like this: leopard, something, snake, and people look, and then I think.
Have you field
Hornets,
tested that?
You can use Hornets. We talked about crossbows last time.
We did.
Hornets and smoke are so fucking underused and underrated.
What would you, if you wanted to use Hornets out in the field, would you, you'd have to develop a pouch to carry them in.
Yeah,
for your,
my mouth. I know.
How are you going to talk on the radio?
That takes a lot of practice. I use Morse code. That's the other thing I love. Is Morse code is not used anymore.
They used to teach it at if you were a comm guy. That was before my era, but they had a Morse test.
You can carry hornets in a jar. You can carry snakes. Now, venomous snakes are good. Now, the banded kite. The banded kite is you dying. Okay, you dying.
I feel like it's the same odds it would bite you, though.
The Australian brown snake, the tiger snake, and the banded kite, and the taipan, that's too long. Why wouldn't I use a taipan? Too long, dude.
Have you ever seen where they will get like a martini glass full of blood and they'll put the venom into it? Have you seen what it does to the blood?
No.
It coagulates it and makes it essentially hard, and they just tip it over.
Damn.
Can you imagine that shit happening in your...
That's what happens.
Yeah, as your heart's just trying to pump that sludge through. Oh.
It's not good.
No,
you die. You die from a banded kite. But you need a smaller snake that is aggressive. King cobras, I know, guys. I know. They're awesome. They're too fucking long.
Where would you carry
them around? You know how you carry them, believe it or not? In a nothing but a cloth sack. They're fine. You take a banded kite.
So you'd have that in your backpack?
I would have that. I'd have it as a satchel. It'd be a satchel on the hip. And I don't want to be moving it around a lot. So I might have it quietly tucked in my backpack in a certain area. Now,
I feel like a satchel would be bouncing it around quite a bit.
That's the problem. Now, I would then, you only use poisonous banded kites and things if you want to clear a room. You just put the snake in there. You slide it in.
What would your SOP be for time at the door? How much time would you give it to do work?
I would probably, and this is where I think outside the box. All right?
Okay.
I would wrap it. It would be wearing it'd be what is the word for that? What are the light bulbs, the tiny light bulbs that light up they just light up anyway? You know those glow sticks? It'd be like that.
Chem lights.
I'd have chem lights. I'd have a tiny little band of adorable chem lights around its body.
They make micro ones.
I'd have it around its neck. It'd be a little necklace. And you'd see chem lights coming at you on the ground. And you go, what the fuck is, that's a snake! And they'd go, gah! And they'd run out of the room. And then when they run out of the room, yeah, exactly.
You're sitting there waiting with crossed thumbs.
I don't have to, dude. I'd have just a little tripwire and they'd all fall on their faces and I'd hog tie them right quick. That's the other thing I enjoy doing is hog tying the fuck out of my enemies. Yeah. We
need to play these scenarios out in this business we're going to create of force-on-force training.
Yeah, those are the things. I take my targets a lot of times. I'm not a big fan of killing them. I just like to incapacitate them. and I stick a suppository in their ass because it puts them to sleep.
So you can rendition them?
So I can rendition them in an extraordinary fashion. Which I am, by the way, for the record, I believe is probably un-American, and I'm against it.
And we did a fuck ton of it.
We did a fuck ton of it, and then we outsourced that, and we dropped them off with the Egyptians, the Jordanians, and whoever else we do, because torture there is meh, you know. And that bums me out. It really does. And it should bum everybody out.
It's an interesting intellectual conversation.
It is.
I posed this to Joe, I think, the first time I sat with him, because it, you know, in my opinion, everybody has, like, there's a line where you're like, okay, do it. Like, there's a value.
Yeah.
And the question I gave to Joe was, I'm like, you get 5 guys in a room. Mm-hmm. You have the benefit of knowing the history of the world. One of those 5, but you don't recognize the 5 people. They're younger, and regardless of what you ask them, they're not going to tell you who they are. Yeah. But one of those 5 men is Adolf Hitler.
Yeah.
And your choice is either to kill them all or let them all go. What would you do?
Kill them all.
Of course, because there's the line, right?
Yeah.
Where does that exist with information coming from torture?
Well, I don't. Again, I think I don't know enough about torture and how well it works. I don't know what the science is on that. Sometimes you torture somebody, they'll tell you anything you want to hear, of course, because human beings do that.
I think the science shows that it will elicit information. Whether or not the information is accurate is the question, because a dude will try to tell you the nuclear launch codes who has no fucking clue what they are if you have a plier trying to take his finger off.
Yeah, and by the way, but also interrogators, experienced interrogators, usually get a lot more building a rapport.
Yes.
From what I've heard.
Which takes time.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know human beings pretty well, and I like human beings. And I think there are ways to psychologically get what you want out of a prisoner a lot of times. I would imagine you can fool them, you can do all kinds of things. You can build a rapport, you can reward them. You know, you can do a lot of things. It's pretty fucking scary to be a young man in a room with a bunch of dudes like you, and they don't know what's going to happen to them. And you can send someone like me in who maybe speaks their language and who has some compassion, makes them feel safe, whatever it might be. I'm sure we do that. I'm sure we do all those things. And it was kind of like the COVID thing. It feels like, from what I've read, that Afghanistan and Iraq, when we had high value targets, it was all a learning process, and we fucked up as we will always do as human beings, and then we learn from those mistakes. And I don't know how well they do now. I don't know what goes on now. I hope, again, the biggest thing is I hope we learn from our mistakes. Yeah. I hope that, and I do think we pay a very steep price for things like extraordinary rendition and dropping them into the wrong hands, knowing that those people will torture. That compromises us as Americans. As somebody who lived overseas most of our life, I remember having great pride in the idea that the Americans don't do things like other people do. We don't. There is something called cruel and unusual punishment. There is something called the Geneva Conventions. Those are good things. They put us in higher standing in the long run. It's how you win the war, not the battle, I think. I actually believe that. I believe that. It gives you an edge. It makes you a stronger country. That's the other thing that needs to be kept in mind. It makes you a stronger country, I think, at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah. Look, the British could have assassinated Gandhi. They could have shot him. They could have just shot him. The Germans, I'm convinced, would have shot Gandhi. They would have just opened up with tanks and blown him away. I don't know where that would have led things, but the British, and historians have looked into this. They really have. Nowhere in the British, from the 2 historians that I've heard talk about this, nowhere in the British annals, and a lot of this is accessible now, was there really any talk with Churchill's cabinet and these guys about killing Gandhi, shooting him. It was not considered moral. It just wasn't considered what you did. Look, the British Empire did a lot of shit in India, and some of it was downright immoral and horrible things. But in that case, it's very interesting that the British thought that to be sort of outside the bounds of civilized behavior.
Yeah.
And the Americans, when if you read this Ghost Wars, Jimmy Carter in his cabinet, his administration outlawed assassination. It was getting out of hand, and the CIA was losing their credibility.
Yeah.
Among Americans, American liberals or whatever. But I think we have to be very, very careful when we do these things. And I'm not so sure.
Do you think we should be transparent about what we do?
Transparent in that we do extraordinary rendition. Transparent in that we do have an assassination program. We have a robust assassination program.
How about transparent in all of it?
I think it's a good idea. Not tactics, not who's doing these things.
Yeah.
But please know that we have a very robust assassination program in this country. It's done by drone. It's done by probably certain task forces. But I don't know. I'd like to talk to those people in 10 years to see what they think of that, and whether or not, and historians and people involved, and to see whether or not they think it was a good idea. My guess is it'd be a mixed reaction. My guess is some people who are really honest with themselves and people like yourself would maybe say, you might say, I don't know. There'd be a lot of people who say, I thought it was a terrible idea. What are the results? I'm a bottom line guy, but even if the bottom line was in a lot of ways, I don't know, a safer world, at what cost? At what cost? I always ask, there's always a cost.
Yeah.
Look, man, military's done a great fucking job at the end of the day of stopping. In 20 years, we haven't had another 9/11. That's a big deal. 19 years, that's no joke. I mean, you got to give credit where it's due in that sense. But again, at what price?
It came at a cost too. I mean, I'm sure that the military is a blunt instrument. It's not the scalpel that people think that it is. And when you swing a blunt instrument, there's going to be secondary and tertiary effects.
Yeah.
And there might be another 9/11 down the road that was created from us doing what we need to do to make sure one hasn't happened in 20 years.
Yeah. And maybe Afghanistan, maybe Iraq sent a very clear signal to rogue nations that if you guys think there's any profit in a mushroom cloud over a European or American city, it will be the end of you. That's very important for North Korea to understand. I would take a very hard line toward the Chinese Communist Party. A hard line.
Agreed. I would too.
I think that a strong America is not something we can't afford not to be strong and unified in those fronts. So, but
they're deep topics. Yeah, I mean, those are hour-long conversations to try to even unpack.
Next time,
I would love to sit down and talk with those people as well.
Yeah. I mean, you have some experience in that world.
Yeah.
But again, it's nuanced, and it's okay to not know. It's okay to be confused by it. And it's okay to say sometimes yes, sometimes no.
And I think the transparency on top of that is the important part. I think I agree. I would be curious to the average reaction if everything that we have done as a nation under our flag was released in full transparency.
Jesus Christ.
It'd be wild. And I say that with I'm not judging the actions. I know only the things that I was a part of in the sphere of influence that I had when I was in the military, but if we let the whole thing out, it'd be rough.
I know.
And we'll digest that on the next episode of Tactical Asshole.
Damn straight.